What's up, guys? It's Panic Knife here with theawfulgamer.com, and I am going to start out this new, I guess it's kind of a new series because we're working off of a different town. But I'm going to start this off by giving you a good view of the lessons basically that I learned in the old city, which is that you need to make sure that if you're going to run your industry, you should do it in a closed loop so that you continue to make it easy to have the deliveries go through, and then, so that they get out onto the global market quickly so that you can increase the capacity and develop your industry very quickly. Now, as you can see, I have a little bit of money in this game. That's because I have specialized in electronics, and I tried that in the other city, but I was having issues increasing capacity fast enough to get through, and get the big money items, which is the consumer electronics. The way I managed to set the city up was I actually deleted this road right here at first and created it so that it was just a nice closed loop. If you see, I have an avenue running right down the center. This is how I started out the city, with one avenue going down the center connecting to the highway over here. This plot here, I'll show you where in the region it is. It's actually I think we're running on like Titan Gorge or something like that, and I set up this city right here, and it has, if you can look at it from here, two connections to the interstate. So it started out with the first connection right here and the second connection over here, and it had like a loop coming right there, which is kind of inconvenient when I looked at it, and I realized that you could actually bulldoze the avenues and all that. So I did. I decided to create it going down the center here towards the waterfront, and then connecting to the other side of the highway over here. Now, originally I had just created that avenue, and then I started out by creating a little residential over on this side, a little bit of industrial over here, and then using this second avenue that I built, going all the way around there. Actually didn't originally, just went over to here as my kind of closed loop for trade, because there's no reason why anybody would go down that road initially unless they were taking part in my trade. So this, as you can see, that it looks like there's a fucking bomb going off on the half of my city. That's because I started out with mining. If you look, there's not a whole lot of ore left, but this was pretty well condensed with ore. So I created a mine right here. I think I had actually created a side street going looping around it, and then getting another mine over here, or maybe it was over there. It was one of those two. And I extracted ore until I was able to get enough trade going in order to get the second level of metals. If you can check it out, I actually have the metals HQ pretty well upgraded. So once I was able to get the metals level 2 and trade level 2, I created my trade port right here, and then I closed off this area. So there's no reason for deliveries to come in anymore. It was just, I had ended up looping it around over there so that I could create the trade port over there as well, because one of them was connected to the railroad, and obviously one of them is connected to the ocean there. So, the initial idea here was that I was going to create the rest of the city enough to get industry up to the level where I can make electronics. So I started out. Once I got my smelting factories, which is the real goal of doing the metals thing, I had two smelting factories, one right there and one right there, both of them creating alloy and metal to help out my archaeology, because I wanted to build an archaeology. So I had them running the alloys straight up to these processor factories right here, because processor factories need alloy and plastic. Now, what I did with the plastic, you can either make plastic if you have oil, which this city does have oil, but I didn't really decide to run with an oil rig just because of the fact that it was placed in kind of a weird place, and it was away from where everything was. So I didn't really want to worry about the oil there. And plus, it's a very low margin trade thing. So I know that I'm very descriptive, but the recycling isn't all that effective sometimes. It gives you a decent amount of the materials, but it relies on your transportation. Now, I was having a lot of problems with my transportation. Having just one avenue down the center and connecting to both sides of the highway made some massive traffic jams on this road, and it made it so that recycling wasn't always getting picked up. So I created another avenue along the outside. Just every little entry point you can make to the highway, it does end up easing traffic a little bit. Plus, I actually noticed that adding avenues to these. I didn't have that many, people or many entranceways to the residential area over here and the industrial area. I think I had only 3. So I decided to change it up a little bit and add avenues entering these the residential areas instead of just regular high-density roads. That seems to have helped it a little bit. I think what it does is it makes it so that I don't know why these people are doing U-turns. Whatever. But I think what it ends up doing is making it so that there's street lights on both sides, which helps ease the traffic a little bit. When it's just a stop sign coming in, people just dart out in front of traffic, and it's just really stupid. That's one of the problems the game has early on here. But so yeah, I closed off the trade loop here. I made it so that the only way they could enter was over here, so that when the trucks were coming in, they would go down this avenue right here and come in right over here. There's only one way to get in, and therefore there's only one reason why you would go in this loop, which is either A, you're a recycling truck, or B, you're delivering something or picking something up from one of these factories. And even better, the ability to, or since I had metals level 2, and I was able to upgrade the trading headquarters to electronics, which opens it up to, I had the ability to open it up both for metals and for the trading HQ for the different like lots over here on the trade port. So I added the train here. I was importing, I imported metal, I imported plastic, and I imported the raw ore and. What was the other thing? The raw ore and the coal. Because actually I did mine some coal as well to start. As you can see, they're not very dense deposits anymore because I did mine the hell out of them for a while. But when I was in, I realized that it was like 5,000 per 5 tons or something like that. So it was actually a lot cheaper just to import it than to mine it and to run those facilities. So I decided to import those. It sent the materials over to the smelters. The smelters sent the materials to the processors, and then I was making pretty good bank. I mean, processors make 67,000, I think, per per 1,000, I guess. So that was making me pretty good profit off the bat, but I actually made a huge mistake. And when I was upgrading my my electronics factory over here, I added this one, which don't do that. That's the commerce division. I'd already upgraded my trading headquarters to include an electronics thing, which makes it so that you can sell them on the trade ports. The issue there is that I was redundant, and I thought that I was changing to a consumer electronics, and I wasn't. So that was kind of a big issue. I then needed to increase my yield to over 4 million profit off of the level 1, which is processors, which was a huge shit show. Now this this industrial area right here didn't actually, well, nice, not enough workers. Screw you, buddy. But it didn't actually used to exist. I had a loop going right here that was inside of the contained loop so that I can increase capacity, and I added like processor factories all up and down this area. Had it made it so that it was there was enough smelting and raw ore and all that kind of stuff to increase the capacity completely, and eventually was able to just pump out 4 million out of just the processors, which was impressive in my opinion. But anyway, once you upgrade this the electronics HQ to include the consumer electronics division, that was a huge boon for my industry, and I was able to I mean, I completely cut down. I think I only have let's see how many consumer electronics factories I have. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I have 3 right now running. That's it. And I mean, this is down from I think 8 or 9 processor factories before, and I'm making the exact same amount, because if you check out the trade ports right now, and when they turn on the global market, some of this stuff will change. But if you check out right now how much TVs are going for, it's 200K per 1,000, and I'm cranking them out like hotcakes. I mean, we're fucking like, as you can see in the trade ports here, it accepts 10,000 crates each of them. And it goes on. It goes off the road, so you don't have to worry about delivery timing. It's just through the ocean and through the train right there. So it does it pretty much automatically, and this is like a self-contained loop. Nobody really goes down this road, even though I opened it up to traffic. Only really people that go down it are employees of this area or the trade carts. So it's been pretty nice, and it has that's pretty much the way you want to do it if you have some sort of an industrial town. Make it so that there's a closed loop over there, sort of like what I showed you in the last video, and that will make your industry boom. And if you want to make tons of money, 90K or 90 million right here, just from running it, and this is with taking 30 million out of it to create the arcology, which you can see over here somewhere. Where's my arcology? There it is. So I created an arcology just based on my electronics industry, and through very little help of my neighbors, because I'm actually a lot richer than they are. That arcology, by the way, if you check out the way it does it here, it adds 50,000 students to my area, 80,000 workers, 3,000 shoppers. So I don't even really have to have a very large population in my area. I've cut down a lot of it, made it all high wealth. I mean, it's pretty sweet looking, and it helps quite a bit with the high wealth industry as well. Although apparently one factory doesn't have enough workers, so something I got to work on. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's this city, Trollololol, because I think that anybody who's been playing this game and doesn't have any money is going to look at 90 million and think, first of all, they'll probably accuse me of sandboxing, which is completely not true. Although I don't know how to prove it. I don't know where that is in the thing. But yeah, it's just pretty much a matter of creating industry that just runs really, really well. And my pump isn't dry. I don't know what they're talking about. The other tip here, by the way, with the pumps, let me see if I can find the water table. There it is. See, it's all screwy because it's all ground polluted and everything, but I ran filtration pumps throughout here. You have your sewage plant right next to your water pumping station. The sewage plant puts water right back into the water table. And it's pretty much unlimited water. I don't know why it says pump dry, because it's not. And I actually have a pretty big excess of water there, considering my city is gigantic. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that next I'm going to use this, or not all this money, but some of this money to finance myself a casino town. And I know that there are issues with the casinos at this point, and people are having issues making money off of them. I think that I will be able to do it because our region is populated enough. So we will see, and I will film it for you. Anyway, with theawfulgamer.com, this is your boy Panic Mife. I hope you Panic Mife. I just messed up my own name. Good lord. This is your boy Panic Knife, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will continue to bring them to you as much as you can continue to watch them. So I'll see you guys later.